Hey everyone, it's Commander Raduk, and I'm going to bring to you another trade video here. Kind of my most recent sort of experiment into trading different ways. This is based more on profit per ton versus some of the shorter speed routes that I've shown in the past. So uh, this is of course still a slave-free trade route, as I don't trade slaves. I'll talk more about why I don't later on. So, just to kind of show you why this route is so valuable, I'm going to show you kind of the money shot. So here it is. This particular orbital, which is only about 450 light seconds from the star, buys gold for 11,434 a ton. Pretty good demand for it. And so look, 2,700 per ton for gold is an incredible amount of money. So that's 1.229 million in profit. And so go ahead and grab the return commodity, which is going to be a couple different stations. So we're going to buy marine equipment here. Now I've seen this go up in price. Right now it's at a pretty low price and they've got a high supply of it. Imagine if people jump on this route, then it'll wind up changing. Of course, you need to use the galaxy map for this because it's a pretty heavy jump. I've used sidewinders and other ships to mark where I need to go, and we're going to go to Urkuma next. Something that you may want to know, there's a limitation to the amount of ships right now that you can buy in the game. That limitation is 250. After that, you start to experience all sorts of weird problems with the game, and pretty much you can you get yourself locked out. Oops. I call it getting your ship impounded, but anyways, just something to be aware of. About my comment earlier about why I don't trade slaves. So I know a couple people have asked. They've made comments such as like, it's just a video game. Uh, I know it's just a video game, but one of the things with this particular video game is that it's a simulation, and really your experience, right? Your how good you are at the game, your levels, your things like that. Those come by you flying and flying more ships and having more experiences in the game. It's not necessarily what you own or even how much money you make, even though for me, I enjoy making a lot of money. So if you keep that in mind and then you think about the fact that there's activities in the game that you can do to progress, uh, simulation of slave trading is one of them. I don't know why anyone would want to participate in such an activity. Um, it's it's simply disgusting to think about human trafficking and humans as a commodity. So if you have no problem with that, that's good for you. And to some extent, that's really the beauty of this game. However, at the same time, you don't have to sell your soul and become a slave trader or a simulated slave trader in order to make money. And that's what I try to show in these videos, is that you can kind of keep your moral integrity, if you will, and still make money in the game. Anyways, enough about that. As you see, I've jumped into Blau City, and that's where we're going to go ahead and sell our latest supply of stuff. That's marine equipment. That's what I bought from the previous orbital. It will sell for, if we're lucky, around 1,000 a ton. It can drop in price, and that's something to know with these routes. However, with the multi-jump route, in a way, that's what you're trying to help avoid, is really the most profitable way to make money between all of these stations is, I think, to jump the route that I'm jumping now. And being that that's the case, ideally as others come to play, they'll take this method and you'll churn the economies and keeping them balanced. That's my theory, at least. I don't play with other groups of players, so I haven't had a chance to really see what can happen if everybody starts kind of running routes all at the same time. But that's in a way why I run these videos. I'm curious to come back to some of the places where I've exposed good places to make money. And I'm curious to come back to see how things have changed, if the routes maintain, if they, I know they can go away if you overrun them, but if you work multiple jumps in, such as the cheetah one and what I'm showing you here, I'm curious what the effects are. So, anyways, it's just kind of something fun to think about with the game. It's nice that there's a background simulation going on that is going to continue to evolve as the game itself grows. I'm certainly excited about Horizons. I did go ahead and get myself the lifetime season pass. Pretty excited about that. Thought it was a good investment, considering that I generally hang on and pick a game and play that game for an extended period of time. And started off doing that with EverQuest, and then played World of Warcraft, and then now, of course, I've entered into the realm of this game. And for me, I see limitless potential. I just enjoy just flying my ship so much. I mean, I've got, as you can see, a decent amount of money. That's 156 million even with cargo in the bank. So it's far above that amount right now. I'm 71% into Tycoon, which means I'm 29%, of course, from being elite. So money right now for me is no object. As many of you know, in addition to this sort of trade anaconda that I have, I also have a full Class A anaconda that is worth somewhere in the neighborhood of 550 million. So really, money is not an object for me at this point, and I can tell you that having a lot of money does not give you a feeling of, hey, I've won the game. I will say that being a good trader, which often results, as you can see, in having a lot of money, does give you security as far as wanting to just do things in the game. So I feel a lot of comfort right now when it comes to if I wanted to go exploring, or if I wanted to try to, take over a certain system with a certain faction. I have a lot of freedom to do that. I did power play for a while, and I was able to do that because I had a lot of money, and I could kind of experience it for myself and then decide if it was for me. I'll comment on power play in just a moment. So, anyways, we're here in Blau City, and by the way, there's snails here to sell. Those can be nice when you jump them a long distance. Anyways, but marine equipment, 47.95. So 1,047 a ton. It's a pretty decent second jump, right? So we made 1.2 on the first. Here's 473. So we're just about 1.7 million, right? And we're gonna go buy tobacco here. They've got a pretty good supply. It's medium. It's not high, so it's, in my mind, I think it could go lower if something happened to the station. Seems like that's a lot of supply to call it medium. So we'll see. Maybe the economy will shift. But for now, we're going to jump this actually pretty close. I could have shown you on the regular map, but we're going to jump to here. One of my friends, Commander Steelgate, happens to be here at the moment. And we're going to jump over there and see if we can sell our stuff. Now, this next jump has been interesting. Sometimes I've sold it for 1,300 a ton. Other times it's been like 800 a ton. So very volatile economy. I'm curious to see where it's at this point. Hopefully, for sake of a really cool looking video, we're going to sell it for a lot. So a couple people have asked how I find routes. I have a variety of way of doing it. I do use a star map sometimes to find routes, and I'm going to create a video to kind of show how I do that without using any sort of outside tools. However, I do use outside tools if at times as well. I found one called eddb.io. So it's eddb.io. probably one of the best databases so far when it comes to route planning that I've seen. I tend to use those to scope out sort of, where high priced economies may lie, and then I go find those systems for myself. And up until recently here, the way, of course, I was doing that was with sidewinders. I would go to a station, buy a sidewinder, would mark where I'd been, sort of implant in my memory that, and then I would take off, go to the next station, and sort of map out the galaxy. And I'll show you in just a moment here, sort of what that ends up looking like. All right, so here we are. Here's Shen Terminal. By the way, 5 light seconds, right? Very nice. Yeah, this is, as you saw, this is just a one jump part of the route, which is, nice. There may even be a return commodity here, maybe decent. I have not looked at it. I've mostly been focused on trying to get this multi-route into something that felt worthy enough to share with everybody so that folks could come and check it out. I was thinking that maybe, guys, if you had a ship that, I don't know, could jump a little further than some of the heavier freighters, this might be good for you because you double jump and you can kind of get this. And even if you had a smaller ship and couldn't jump as far, I still think this is decent. 2,700 credits. I mean, that's a lot per ton for something that's just a mere 28 light years from the start of all this, right? And that's our next jump. We'll be jumping to the start of all this after this final drop here at Shen Terminal. So like I said, Shen Terminal, kind of nice. 5 light seconds. It's a convenient sort of little hop, and we're gonna head on in. So I did power play for a while, and that's a good activity, especially if you have time to sort of be near the game and you're kind of AFK playing, if you will. It's a great way to gather merits that way, especially once you're at a higher rank. You can make some decent money through that, and I made several hundred million through that method. However, at the end of the day, I feel like you can make more money doing what I'm doing now, and to me, this is a lot more fun. You're getting more out in the world. I can look at different stations and visit different places and see different experiences. Um, you know, to me, that's more entertaining and more fun than just sort of power play. Kind of sticks you in a certain factions area. And maybe I'll go back to it at some point in the game if something strikes me to do. So I kind of like the idea that power play exists. As a trader, I think it also adds an interesting element. Especially when you're able to kind of trade in and out of power play zones, playing on the edge of different zones. You can take advantage of different power plays' global benefits and use those to find good route or good route opportunities. So, all right, so tobacco 59.80 here, right? Great price. So 13.25. That's a good little drop. So boom, 598, almost 600,000, right? So we're at 3.3 million. And we're just going to go take our final jump. So this is where things get a little expensive. 6,800 for performance enhancers, 77 for the cells. The cells sell better, but obviously we're not going to buy those. I think that might even be a loss at the station we're going to jump to. So, all right. So this is our final jump. That's going to get us back to the station where we buy our gold at. Oh, looks like one of my buddies. He got his Python. He just started playing about 2 weeks ago, and said following my videos was able to already get to a Python. Mr. Tactical Bacon. All right, so we're gonna head on out of here. Oops, wrong guy. There we go. Ooh, don't wanna just clip the side just a little bit. That's what shields are for, right? All right, so we'll go ahead and head on back to our start station. That's where we bought our gold from, and then I'll take that one last jump to show you again how much you make on the cell. So look at that, coming right past me, a T7. So one of the items I found that was interesting was the limit on the number of ships that you can buy. And frankly, I was a little disappointed. I posted about this in the Frontier forums. I certainly can see why you would want to limit to the amount of ships perhaps at any given station. You know, even from a lore perspective, that makes sense. But from visiting systems in the galaxy and being able to buy space stations, it almost feels spaceships. It almost feels like that should be an encouraged activity. I can give an example really of why I feel this way, and a lot of that has to do uh, with the fact that when you buy a lot of ships, you get sort of a marker effect. So you will see on my galaxy map. So little markers here when they're close, but when you scan all the way out, you get a cool effect of every space station you've ever been to, and the systems light up. Uh, I think this is something that adds a feature to the game that's beneficial. It's certainly a lot of fun. Here's what power play looks like, right? So you can kind of see the difference between where I've been, where I've marked, and where all power play encompasses. So again, back to the map. But this is why I want to be able to buy as many ships as possible. To me, it's just a cool effect to be able to outline human space in this way. So, all right, well, here's our final jump, making it back to Quan Angel. So let's go ahead and do just that and sell what we have. This is going to be the worst part of our sell that we have going on. It's going to only be for a couple hundred credits. However, as you can see from all the previous transactions, this jump is worth it, and we're going to sell a commodity that's in decent demand anyhow. So, no, again, as I mentioned, this is probably not the number one trade route to definitely make huge amounts of money. I'm not as sure as this one as I have been of some of the other routes that I've posted. But what I do like about this route compared to the other ones that I've posted is that this one feels like it encompasses more of trading in an engine format to influence different systems. So what I mean by that is that I actually trade a variety of different economies, commodities, bringing those to different systems, and so each one of those jumps comes with the impacts of trading with that particular system's faction, if you will. So I do like that effect, so to speak. I like that it's kind of in this one little area. Again, I don't know if this is where I'll stay. Certainly for a little while, I've made quite a bit of money running this route lately. So it's definitely a little hard to run from. And then, of course, since I'm limited to 250 ships, my ability to breadcrumb my way through and find new routes without utilizing tools has vastly changed. So again, I hope they change that. I hope that they find a way to make it so that we can buy as many ships as we want. I think that if you have that sort of feature in the game, that trading is designed to make a lot of money. So give me something that I can spend my money on. Uh, you know, I have two Anacondas. I don't need another one. It's great that the Federal Corvette's going to come out, and probably my next action here is going to be to build my reputation with the Federation. I definitely want a Federal Corvette. I may replace my other Anaconda with it. Uh, it seems so far like it's going to be superior. You're basically, if I read the announcement on the hard points right, you're basically going to replace your two small hard points with one more large hard point. So you'll have two large hard points, or not large, one more huge hard point. So you'll have two huge hard points 3 large hard points and 2 medium hard points. Wow. I guess we'll have to see what the size of the power plant is, but that sounds like a monster of a ship. Uh, One that I certainly feel that I'd like to own. Um, so anyways, oh, who we got coming out here? Uh, just a recklessly driving NPC. I already had a couple friends in here. My friend Richard Feynman is, uh, I think he's AFK right now, but looks like he's got a Type 9 running some stuff through this area. So, and as usual, if I find something better, I'll definitely post the route. Uh, you can you can be assured of that. So I'm definitely excited for Horizons coming out. I think that it's uh, it's cool that they're gonna approach planetary landings the way they're gonna do it. So, anyways, here's the performance enhancers. See, only 494 credit. Not great, right? So, 223,000. So, 159 million. Not bad, right? Um, See high in the Prognair sales, but remember those were like 77. It does have a couple other high demands. We could jump tobacco in here, but remember we make 59 at the other route. So, if you jump it into here, you're going to lose that 500 credits. So I like the other way. So the reason why we jump in here, of course, is the gold is 8,700 a ton. Pretty high supply of it. Not a bad supply of platinum, which by the way is a good alternative to run. And even these alternate minerals, if you could run that to another extraction or another refinery that may be selling gold, that's not a bad option to consider at some point. I haven't looked at it yet. All right, so here we go. We're going to buy this, and I'm going to make my final jump back to where we started. So again, I've already shown you the amount of money that uh, you can you can make with this run. Remember, I sold to start, so this is just an additional jump. So you know, up to 155 million with 4.2 million of cargo worth of gold. So this jump here will place me well over 160 million. So again, that's why if I sound like I'm campaigning for Frontier to add an option to, or not add the option, but to address the fact that 250 is the maximum amount of ships you can buy, I am, and it's selfish because I want something trivial like that to spend my money on. So. All right. Well, there's the route. So I hope somebody can find some benefit to this. Uh, if you got any questions, feel free to look me up in game. I'm always glad to talk to people, and I'm glad to chat with you in game. I do AFK a lot, so keep that in mind. If you're ever, uh, you know, sending me a whisper or whatever, and I don't respond, it's not because I don't want to talk to you. It's because I AFK a lot. I don't get an opportunity to voice chat a lot. I often play when I'm just not able to be chatting, or just in my line of work, I tend to be on the phone a lot. So uh, sometimes I'm not looking to really chat on the phone or on the in-game chat, the voice chat. But if you want to chat with me in text, again, I'm glad to answer questions and things like that. So feel free to add me to your friends list. I only play in open. I've never played in solo or in private groups or anything like that. This is all open play. So if you're a pirate, feel free to try to hunt me down. I've certainly been killed by my fair share of pirates. I've had my fair share of encounters. So if that's you and you want to try to jump this down, go for it. I always challenge you, but just remember, if you come here to pirate, you're setting yourself up for some bounty hunters to make a living for themselves. So, but anyways, I hope everybody hope you enjoyed the video here. If there's particular questions that you want to have answered, I can always answer them in additional videos. Trading itself is somewhat straightforward. You can use those databases online, or you can look on the galaxy map yourself. Certain systems they allow for better trading, so extraction and refineries are going to be where you find your metals and your minerals, and then you tend to sell those at either industrial or high-tech stations. High-tech stations tend to have the things that extractions and refineries need in order to function better, and you can sometimes find deals there to run those back and forth. Other times, it's better to take those items and run that sort of equipment to an agricultural station. Agricultural stations, of course, have either food or drugs and things like that. And you can run those back to different stations as well. More of a wider area to run those to, but your profit margin is generally less. I like to essentially run metals to high tech, and then high tech to either back to that station I just came from, or somehow try to get back there as fast as possible. And that's really how money's made, or either that or metals to industrial. Well, one of the two is really the best way to go. So, and again, I encourage you to use ships to track your progress that way. So, all right, we're coming into Edmondson Gateway here. So I'll end the video with another cell so that you can kind of see it end to end, and then hopefully you'll get an opportunity to try to do this thing for yourself. So I will say, when it comes to power play, I am hoping that they continue to evolve it. I think that there's some real opportunity there, especially when it comes to those that don't necessarily want to pledge to a power. So I like the way that they're kind of doing things, that you don't necessarily have to pledge to a power to get a benefit for it. You can sort of use the power play powers against each other for a benefit. I think that's a neat way of doing it. I'd like to see something more in the game driven to that effect. More options for independent commanders, if you will. So, but otherwise, I mean, I, I'm not horribly sad with power play. I think I understand the vision that they've got behind it. So I know a lot of people are upset with it, but that's just the way I see it. So, oh, look at that, 27.21. So it actually went up a little bit. So there we go. Another 1.229 million to finish things out. And again, just to kind of give you an idea what those stations look like, put them up here in the galaxy map. And there you go. So they're all pretty close to each other. You don't have to go to Carnes. Carnes does have options. There's ways you can run this where it's one angel to Lucinunga, and then you can work Carnes into the rotation. You can go one angel, two Carnes, and back to one angel. There's some options there. There's probably more options around as well. You can see there's even more stations. The way I have this sort of filtered out, you can see that there's more stations. I encourage you to use this map and take a look at the view tab if you're new to the game and you haven't already. There's a lot of things in here that you can do to try to learn more about the systems in the game. And the great thing about trading is trading teaches you a lot about the game and a lot about sort of the foundation of what the game is built around, so that when you move into other stuff, be it exploration or combat, you've got sort of the foundational experience from trading to understand how the game works. So I definitely recommend doing it for at least a little while. So, all right, till next time, take care.